I'm talking about who the Morphin Masters are. So the Morphin Masters are beings. They are ageless beings, as Zato has said, with immense power. So we all know that the Morphin Masters are a part of the Morphin Grid. Well, they're not a part of it. Okay, let me rephrase. The Morphin Masters are ageless beings that can grant people Power Ranger powers, or instead the morphing grid can give a person Power Ranger powers. So the Morphin Masters created these beings known as emissaries to talk to mere mortals, as they saw themselves as kind of as gods, because they didn't want to get into complications with the human world, like in the human world. That's why the Morphin Masters created the emissaries. You see, the emissaries were put in place to not only like be in the grid, but also to make sure that they can communicate with mere mortals. Since the Morphin Masters didn't think that they were enough as a high standard, you can say, in order to in order to talk to them. But sometimes the Morphin Masters would come out of their way to help a to help the humans. As in Dino Fury, the Morphin Masters came to help Zato's team of knights become Power Rangers. The Morphin Masters, they assumed that they found the grid, and they built their whole civilization on the grid. They assumed that they found it. They assumed that they discovered the Morphin grid, and they also assumed that they are the ones that were meant to find it. Um, the Morphin Masters, they assume that they found the grid, and they assume that it should belong to them and no one else. That's why they put the emissaries in place, to make sure the mere mortals, if mortals discovered it, to make sure that the emissaries would talk to them, to make sure if they were worthy of holding such power, of holding such knowledge of the Morphin grid. The Morphin Masters were also able to create Power Ranger type energy. Take not energy, but type of Power Rangers artillery, you can say. They created the Nexus Prism for Ninja Steel. They also created the Energems for Dino Charge. Um, the Morphin Masters, um, they believe that they found the grid. And they believed this because they were the ones who discovered it. So they believed it was their occupation, you can say, to make sure no mortal who was unworthy to discover the grid. That's why the emissaries were also put in place. So those are who the Morphin Masters are. But there is something else. So there was this Morphin Master who turned evil, and he wanted to keep the grid, and he wanted to make it in his own, like, he wanted to control it. He wanted to make sure that because we all know how powerful the Morphin grid is. So he wanted to make sure he had that power. I don't know if the Ranger team in the comics defeated him yet. Not the Mighty Morphin, but like the Beyond the Grid, I think, type of storyline. I don't know if they defeated that ex Morphin Master, you can say. Um yeah, so those are who the Morphin Masters are. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you on the next one.